Okay, good morning all. We will start with the discussion related to the protocols designed for the noisy channels. We have started with stop and wait ARQ type of protocol. The stop and wait ARQ protocol. Typical characteristics associated with this stop and wait ARQ protocol is typically we have seen the two types of configuration, connection oriented and connection less type of configuration. The characteristics associated with stop and wait ARQ is it's used in connection oriented communication. Yesterday we have seen it offers error as well as flow control. Sometimes this particular protocol, stop and wait ARQ protocol, is also utilized at the transport layer. At the application layer, we have some configurations associated with stop and wait ARQ, but normally the stop and wait ARQ protocol is utilized in data link and transport layers. This protocol implements mainly the concept of sliding window with a window size 1. Specifically, stop and wait ARQ works with window size 1. Some of the important terms, yesterday we have not discussed these important terms that are used in stop and wait ARQ. It's a propagation delay. The propagation delay is amount of time taken by a packet to make a physical journey from one node to another node, or from one router to another router, or it's the time that is required for one hop to another hop. Typically, just note down, propagation delay is always equal to the distance between the routers divided by velocity of propagation. Distance between the routers divided by velocity of propagation. Just note down this particular terminology. Important, propagation delay. Propagation delay is always equal to distance between the routers divided by velocity of propagation. Then second important term, round trip time. We have seen that the sender sends the frame, the receiver acknowledges that particular frame and sends that data. So the round trip time, broadly we can say that round trip time RTT is twice the propagation delay. Twice the propagation delay. Round trip time is always equal to twice the propagation delay. And third important, timeout. Timeout concept, yesterday we have seen, if the packet is not acknowledged within the specified timer which is started by the sender send, then the process is said to be timed out, and after timed out the retransmission of the packet is done. Even if the packet or frame is a duplicate type of frame, since acknowledgement is not at all received within the specified time duration, if timeout occurs, then the how to keep this particular timeout? Timeout is typically kept as twice the round trip time. Twice the round trip time. And another important concept is time to live. The maximum time to live that is standardized for the data communication is typically 180 seconds. Make it very clear, the maximum time to live. Timeout is always twice the round trip time. Time to live is twice the timeout. Twice the timeout. And maximum time to live is always around 180 seconds. Typically 180 seconds. Yesterday we have seen the PPT. Whenever we share the PPT. The typical concepts that we have seen for this stop and wait type of ARQ protocol. Four different useful terms. Again, propagation delay, round trip time, timeout, time to live. We have seen this time to live whenever we give the command, say ping to yahoo.com, or ping. If you are utilizing the concept of ping for the local area network, this local area network always provides you the time to live for the packet within the local area network, which also provides the information about the round trip time, which also provides the information associated with the timeout. Four important concepts: propagation delay, round trip time, timeout, and time to live. In case of simple stop and wait protocol, we have seen that the one data packet is sent at a time. Send next packet only after receiving acknowledgement for the previous. At the receiving end, send acknowledgement after receiving and consuming of the data packet. After consuming the data packet, that is handing over the data packet to the upper layer. After consuming the packet, acknowledgement needs to be sent. That is the flow control that is obtained by the simple stop and wait protocol. The simple stop and wait protocol. Typical problems is we have considered for the noiseless or ideal channel, but in the noisy channel, the data may be lost. Whenever sender sends that, sender waits for acknowledgement, receiver waits for data. This will be for infinite amount of time. This will be for the infinite amount of time in the practical cases, and that's why the lost acknowledgement, sender waits for the acknowledgement for specified amount of time, where that is it starts the timer at the sender side. After timeout on the sender side, a long delayed acknowledgement might be sent by the receiver. These delayed acknowledgement problem, the lost acknowledgement problem, and lost data, all these are minimized by utilizing the concept of stop and wait automatic repeat request. All these above problems, delayed acknowledgement, loss of data, and loss of acknowledgement, loss of data, loss of acknowledgement, and delayed acknowledgement, all these problems are solved with the help of stop and wait ARQ protocol. How it works? Again, we will see the procedure. Sender A sends a data frame with a sequence number, say 0. Receiver B, after receiving the data frame, sends an acknowledgement with a sequence number of the next expected data frame or data packet. You can say data packet, but at data link level, we will say it's a data frame. There is only one bit sequence number. That implies that both sender and receiver have buffer of one frame. They have buffer of only one frame. The typical configuration characteristics, the sender sends, acknowledgement or receiver acknowledges, both have the specified buffer of one frame, and that's why it's known as typically a connection oriented or a closed loop protocol. The stop and wait protocol actually solved, but all the above three problems are solved, but may cause performance issues, since sender always waits for the acknowledgement even if it has next packet ready to send or next frame ready to send. I am considering frame and packet, but next frame is ready to send at the sender's RAM. Typically consider the situation where you have a high bandwidth connection and propagation delay is also high. You are connected to some server in different country through a high speed connection. There might be a performance issue, big performance issue. This problem can be solved if we can send more than one packet at a time, with a large sequence numbers. the stop and wait ARQ protocol may work fine where propagation delay is very less, specifically for our local area network, but performs badly if it's a distant communication. Say typically the two clients are connected with the help of satellite connection. Always there is a delay associated with the satellite communication, 470 milliseconds, that's the delay supported by the, and huge amount of frames. If one frame is sent, wait for the acknowledgement, then send no. That's the drawback that is associated with the stop and wait type of protocol. So huge amount of data cannot be sent. The sender side algorithm, you can see this: get data, make frame, store frame, send frame, start timer. The sequence number is SN. Then prepare for the next also. The next sequence number will be SN plus 1. Then wait for the event. Wait for the event, that is till the acknowledgement arrives at the receiving end. Just go through this algorithm at the receiving end. This algorithm at the receiving end will help you in understanding the concept, but make it very sure that all the problems, sequence numbering, delayed acknowledgement, are taken care by this stop and wait ARQ. It uses the link between sender and the receiver as a half duplex type of link. So if the bandwidth delay product is very high, then stop and wait protocol is not so useful. The sender has to keep waiting for acknowledgement before sending the processed or the next packet. That's one of the important drawback that is associated with the stop and wait type of protocol. That's why we are automatic repeat request takes care of the loss of acknowledgement, loss of data, as well as delayed acknowledgement. Whatever the corrupted frames, if corrupted frames are detected, then acknowledgement or no acknowledgement of the received frame can be generated. Typically, NAK is not at all generated in this stop and wait ARQ type of protocol. But if the acknowledgement is not received, again, then the sender will send that frame with the specified sequence number. And unless and until that specified sequence number frame is received at the receiver will not at all, the receiver will not at all here for this particular example. For the frame 0, acknowledgement 1, frame 1 is lost, frame 1 is resent. In this particular time duration, acknowledgement is not at all received. So timeout. Again the timer is restarted. At the sender's end, again the timer is restarted. The same is done for if the acknowledgement is lost. If the data is lost, frame 1 lost, that is data is lost. Acknowledgement lost, this is the acknowledgement that is lost. Then third important issue is associated with delayed acknowledgement 1. See here, this particular is the correct sequence: start, send the frame, get the acknowledgement, stop the timer, and prepare for sending the next frame. But this particular acknowledgement, if it's received after a certain time delay, then the frame 0 is resent. The frame 0 is resent, and whenever the frame 0 is resent, already acknowledgement is generated. That's the frame 0 is available at the receiver end. The frame 0 is available, but the frame 0 is retransmitted by the sender. So the receiver have two frames, and receiver will discard the duplicate frame. The receiver will discard the duplicate frame because already the acknowledgement is generated. So the receiver will discard that received frame, but that will always delay the throughput of the communication channel, and that's one of the drawback associated with this particular system. We have seen this particular example. We can say that for typically the drawbacks associated with stop and wait ARQ protocol are minimized with the support of go back N type of protocol, go back M, N, and selective repeat request. In case of go back N, sender window size is defined as N. Example, typical example, if N is 10, sender window size will be 10. Receiver window size will be always 1 for any value of N. That takes care of flow control. So even if the sender sends the data at a faster rate, the sender window size is N, the receiver window size is always 1. Make it very, very, very clear. The go back N uses cumulative acknowledgements. In go back N, the receiver actually maintains an acknowledgement timer. Each time the receiver receives a new frame, it starts new acknowledgement timer. After the timer expires, the receiver sends the cumulative acknowledgement for all the frames that are an acknowledgement at that moment. So if first acknowledgement is not at all received, the receiver will say that or will keep a track of cumulative acknowledgement. So all the frames, cumulative acknowledgement can be sent. A new acknowledgement timer does not start after the expiry of old acknowledgement timer. That is the difference. It starts after a new frame is received. So the go back and utilizes independent acknowledgements also. It's not the cumulative acknowledgement, it also provides the independent acknowledgement. The go back, that does not mean that go back and cannot use independent acknowledgement. Go back and may use independent acknowledgement too if they are required. The kind of acknowledgement used depends on the expiry of the acknowledgement time. Typically consider the example, after the expiry of the acknowledgement timer, there is only one frame left to be acknowledged. Then go back and sends the independent acknowledgement for that frame. It's not that it will also always wait for the cumulative acknowledgements. It will not at all wait. And that is the difference between the go back N ARQ and start and stop ARQ. Go back N does not accept the corrupted frames and silently discards them. If receiver receives a frame that is corrupted, then it silently discards that frame. The correct frame is retransmitted by the sender after the timeout expires. Since acknowledgement is not at all received, the sender will retransmit the correct frame. Simply rejecting the frame, no action is taken, no acknowledgement is provided. That is the go back N type of concept that is utilized in the specified window format. That means the sender window size may be N, but receiver window size will be always 1. That's the difference. The send window size, see here, it may be 2 raised to m minus 1. It's before sliding. It's the actually the window is sliding. Frames sent but not acknowledged. Those are the outstanding frames. So send window after sliding, it will move from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 3, 4, 5, 6, since the acknowledgements of 1 and 0, 1, 2 are received. At the receiving end, it's only 1. So 1 bit is received, next frame is expected. Another bit window after sliding. So it will be the receiving number will be changed from 3 to 4. That's window after sliding. Frames already received and acknowledged, and the specified frame that cannot be received until this particular window slides, and that maintains the proper error control as well as frame control. In case of this, go backend does not accept out of order frames and silently discards them. It will accept only the sequenced frame. If receiver receives a frame whose sequence number is not what the receiver expects, then it silently discards that frame. All the frames for that particular sequence number are entirely discarded because window size at the receiving end is 1, and therefore receiver cannot accept out of order frames. This gives rise to the retransmission of entire window if for any sequenced frame, since no acknowledgement is received by the sender. The receiver silently discards the frame. Make it very clear. The receiver silently discards the frame. It if it finds that the frame to be is either corrupted or out of order. It does not send any acknowledgement of such frames. Thus, for a particular frame, sender does not receive any acknowledgement, then it understands that along with that frame, all the following frame must also have been discarded by the receiver. So sender take proper care, changes the window size, retransmission of the entire window, after the specified number must be done by the sender side. So sender can change the size of n. So from 10 it may check for 9, check for 8, check for 7. If for 1, if the efficiency is proper, then it will go back to n, and that's why the name go back n. That's why the name for the protocol, it's go back n. Sender has to retransmit all the frames along with the specified frame. So it takes care of expiry of the timer at the sender side. The scenario, you can consider the scenario whenever the frame being sent to the receiver is lost in midway, then it is retransmitted only after timer out or t timer off or timer expires for that frame at the sender side. And that's why efficiency associated with go back n can be, the efficiency will be always equal to sender's window size divided by 1 plus 2a, divided by 1 plus 2a. Thus efficiency can be acknowledged as n, defining n, and n divided by 1 plus 2a. 1 plus 2a actually provides you the configuration associated with defined window at the receiving side. I think the concept is quite clear now associated with go back and ARQ. Yesterday we have seen this window size for go back and ARQ. Timeout, there will be timeout. The frames will be correctly discarded if repeatedly frame 0 is again transmitted because of the delayed acknowledgement. Because of the delayed acknowledgement, if it's not, that's why the window size is always kept less than 2 raised to m. That is modulo to arithmetic. Window size is never equal to 2 raised to m. And that maintains proper error control as well as the error control. That means the data, if the data in the frame is lost, you have to retransmit it. If the acknowledgement is lost, you have to retransmit it. If there is a delayed acknowledgement, you have to retransmit. So all the three problems associated with the previous protocol are taken care by defining the sender's window size, but receiver's window size will be always 1. That is the major difference in this. Go back ARQ, go start and stop ARQ, and go back and ARQ. The sender's size must be less than 2 raised to n. The size of the receiver window is always 1. It's a typical algorithm we have seen yesterday only. This particular algorithm, go back and sender algorithm, it's the go back and receiver algorithm. This is a typical example. Acknowledgement 1, frame 0, acknowledgement 1, frame 1, acknowledgement 2. Acknowledgement 2 is lost into the communication media. Frame 2 is transmitted. At the specified window, the sequence number Rn will be 3. So for frame 2, acknowledgement 3, for frame 3, acknowledgement 4, for frame 1 will be retransmitted after the timer is off. After the timer is off, frame 1 will be retransmitted because acknowledgement 2 is not received. Acknowledgement 2 is not received. Until and unless acknowledgement is received, the frame is always kept in the sender's scratchpad. So it's not that again the data is to be fetched from the network layer, again the frame is to be formed, but that frame is always maintained at the sender's scratchpad. And that is the difference. That is the difference in between the start and stop ARQ and go back N protocol. Typically, we are utilizing these protocols in practice. All outstanding frames have been sent and timer is stopped. The physical layer must wait. See this, it's very important. The physical layer must wait until this event is completed and the data link layer goes back to its sleeping state. But when the acknowledgement 3 arrives, the sender is busy responding to acknowledgement 2. It happens again when acknowledgement 4 arrives. Therefore, before the second timer expires, all outstanding frames have been sent and the timer is stopped. This care must be taken by the sender. Just see the concept. At the center's end, the window size initially it's 1, then the window size becomes 2 because frame 1 is lost. Frame 1 is lost, so acknowledgement associated with the frame 1 is not at all received. For frame 1, it will be acknowledgement 2. For frame 1, for frame 0, it's acknowledgement 1. For frame 1, it's lost. So it's automatic repeat request for frame 1. Frame 1 is resent. In the meantime, if the acknowledgement of frame 2, frame 3 is not at all received, then again frame 2 and frame 3 are received. But if frame 2 and frame 3 are duplicate frames arriving at the receiving end, previous frames are kept and handed over to the network layer, and newly arrived frames, which are the duplicate frames, will be discarded silently. So no acknowledgement will be given. But for previous frame, if no acknowledgement is generated, then this acknowledgement of the recent frames will be acknowledged by the sender end within the, and even if that will be only for the specified restarted timer duration. For the specified restarted timer duration, make it very clear. The stop and wait ARQ protocol will always provide you the configuration that is can. If still confusion occurs, just go through the versions book, stop and wait automatic repeat request, the sequence numbering, and the stop and wait protocol. Whatever I have taken, all this is from versions book. The examples that I have taken on are again from the versions book. The flow diagram are always provided. You can say that by using the go back n type of ARQ, automatic repeat request, the efficiency of transmission is improved. And how this efficiency of transmission will be improved? Because multiple frames in a transition can be sent while waiting for acknowledgement. That is, we need to let more than one frame to be outstanding to keep the channel busy while the sender is waiting for the acknowledgement. The go back and automatic repeat request, we can send several frames before receiving the acknowledgement. We can keep the copy of those frames until the acknowledgement arrives. Make it very clear. The sliding window, yesterday I told you, it's the abstract concept which defines the range of sequence numbers. That is the concern of the sender and the receiver. The sender and receiver need to deal with only possibilities associated with the sequence number. The window concept is again an imaginary type of concept, but for proper understanding the flow diagram, this particular flow diagram 11.7 will help you regarding the timers. The flow diagram for 11.7, here see the start timer, it's a timeout, but again the timer is restarted. And see here, for all frames, acknowledgement 1, acknowledgement 2, acknowledgement 3, 4. For all frames, acknowledgement is processed and next frame is ready within this particular time duration. That is, we use only one timer that is restarted if the acknowledgement of the specified frame is not at all received. So we send all outstanding frames when this particular timer expires. The sender sends a positive acknowledgement if the frame has arrived safe. If the frame is damaged or received out of order, the receiver is silent and will discard all subsequent frames. Again and again I am telling you, will discard all subsequent frame until it receives the one it is expecting. Suppose the receiver is expecting frame number 5 and sender has sent frame number 6, 7, 8, 9. Receiver will discard all those frames, will wait until frame number 5 arrives, and then it will not at all acknowledge all the received frames. So all those received frames must be retransmitted by the sender. In the meantime, the timer at the sender's end will expire definitely. But sender has to go back and resend all frames. That is, go back and automatic repeat request. Suppose the sender has already sent frame number 6, but the timer for frame number 3 expires. This means that frame number 3 has not at all been acknowledged. So the sender goes back, sends frame 3, 4, 5 and 6 again. Make this concept very clear. Once again I will tell you, the sender resends all outstanding frames. For example, suppose the sender has already sent frame 6, but already frame 6, that means frame number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are already sent. But for the timer 3, when the timer 3 frame 3 is sent, timer 3 is switched on. If that timer expires, this means that frame number 3 is not at all been acknowledged. So the sender has to go back and send frame number 3, 4, 5 and 6. That's why it's the go back N ARQ. Multiple frames can be in transit from sender to the receiver end. From sender to the receiver end, multiple frames may be in transit. But the algorithm for the sender side will be repeated only for the specified timeout for the event. Only for the specified timeout of the event. Make this particular concept very clear. That is, go back N receiver as well as transmitter algorithms. At the receiver end, it's again a half duplex type of, you can say that it's again a half duplex type of transmission. Only acknowledgement frames are received. At present, again, the data from the receiver is not at all sent. See here, the frame 0. Frame 0 is the actual data. And ACK1 is the acknowledgement for the frame 0. Acknowledgement from the received data. The receiver is not at all sending any other type of data to the sender. So that we can say that it's again still it's a half duplex type of concept. This particular concept entirely we can ignore the corrupt or out of order frames. If a frame arrives with an expected sequence number, we deliver the data, update the value of Rn. Rn is at the receiver number. Update that particular value and send that acknowledgement with the acknowledgement for the next frame to be expected. You can see the various examples in Furzon's book. The examples typically 11.3 to 11.6. These are all the examples that we have seen. But again, this particular example 11.7, it's the typical example. Stop and wait ARQ with a special case of go back N, where window size at the last will again become 1. So which will maintain actually the flow control in the sender and receiver. The flow control in the sender and receiver. The selective repeat, automatic repeat request is the another protocol which is the improvised version, which simplifies this particular. What is the specialty associated with this go back N protocol? This protocol, this procedure simplifies the process at the receiving side. The receiver keeps the track of only one variable, and there is no need to buffer out of order frames. Simply discard those. They are discarded. They are silently deleted. But again, in a noisy type of environment, if there is a probability of high damage, that is, all the data may be corrupted, acknowledgement be corrupted, data may be corrupted, acknowledgement be corrupted, then the resending of multiple frames actually decreases the efficiency associated with this procedure. That is go back N ARQ. Because how many times you will send? That means if you are sending frame 0, if acknowledgement 1 is corrupted, all the times you are receiving acknowledgement 2, acknowledgement 3, acknowledgement 4, but acknowledgement 1 is not at all received, even if after the timer is restarted and restarted and restarted. This high probability of the damage causes slowness of the transmission, and the bandwidth is again not fully utilized. Or you can say that resending of the similar frames in the noisy channel will decrease the efficient use of the bandwidth. And that's where we are actually developing the concept of selective repeat, automatic repeat request. That means all the frames will not at all be retransmitted. Only selective frames will be retransmitted. Only selective frames at the receiver end. We can say that the frames are damaged. Only damaged frames need to be sent by the sender's end, and that is selective repeat, automatic repeat request, which is quite efficient, which improves the bandwidth. But though it may increase the processing at the receiver more complex, but it provides a higher efficiency compared to the previous stop and wait ARQ as well as go back N ARQ. In case of go back N ARQ, we have seen that if frame number 3 is not received, acknowledgement is not received, you have to resend 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you are at 10 number frame, if frame number 2 acknowledgement is not received, you have to send again 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 along with the non-acknowledged frame, that is 2. That hampers the bandwidth. Instead of that, if only the selective repeat is requested from the receiver end, so sender will not at all send all additional will not at all be sent, all additional frames will not at all be sent. This mechanism is typically known as selective repeat, automatic repeat request. It is more efficient for the noisy channel. Processing at the receiving end will be complicated one. Again, there are two different types of windows. We'll discuss this particular in the next lecture, the selective repeat protocol. Selective repeat, automatic repeat request, where the reason for changing the window, the receiver window will be of same size of that of sender's window. I think we'll stop here only. If there are any doubts associated with this, we can discuss. Refer only standard books. Either refer Furzon's book or refer Tannenbaum's book or refer Stalin's book. Whatever I am taking is from Furzon's book.